Our cover story tonight is about a perpetual bully, a country that has made a habit of picking fights with every nation that does not agree with its view of the world. Well, no prizes for guessing which country I'm talking about. It is China, of course. It seems to be waging a war against almost the entire world. It's raising the temperature of conflict with India in the Indo-Pacific and Ladakh. It's waging an economic war against the United States over rare earth metals. And it's also trying to browbeat Taiwan into complete submission. These are not the only examples. There are many more. These are not the only examples. There are many more. As I speak, China also has ongoing territorial or economic disputes with countries like South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia, Brunei, Laos, Mongolia. And over the next few minutes, we will take you through China's rogue behavior with all of these countries. We also discuss how each one of them is pushing back against Beijing's overtures. We'll start off with India. On Friday, China barred 3 Indian athletes from participating in the 2023 Asian Games. It refused to give them clearance but allowed several others. The question is why? Why were only these 3 athletes singled out? Because they all happen to be from Arunachal Pradesh, a state in northeast India which a delusioned Beijing thinks it owns. So much so that it released a fantasy map, this one. It showed Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin as Chinese territory. Beijing called this the updated standard map. And India, of course, was quick to burst China's illusion. And a month on, China has banned 3 Arunachal Pradesh athletes from playing on its soil. And just like the last time, India is not holding back. The Ministry of External Affairs has issued a strongly worded statement. It says, and I'm quoting, China's action violates both the spirit of the Asian Games and the rules governing their conduct, which explicitly prohibits discrimination against competitors from member states. India firmly rejects differential treatment of Indian citizens on the basis of domicile or ethnicity. Arunachal Pradesh was, is, and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. And last we checked, China was yet to respond to India's protests. But then again, how many protests will it even respond to? Like I said, it's fighting with just about everyone. Take the United States, for example. China's economic war against the US is a matter of record. Xi Jinping has now decided to take this battle a step further. According to reports, Beijing has imposed export controls on rare earth metals, 2 of them in particular, gallium and germanium. Last month, China did not export these minerals, a decision that many say is aimed at hampering America's economic growth. You see, American defense companies and tech companies are heavily reliant on rare earth metals. They need them to manufacture their jets and missile guidance systems. And these metals are also used to manufacture chips, which are crucial for electric devices. China, which maintains a monopoly on rare earth mining, seems to politicize the exports of these minerals. It wants to basically hobble the US defense and tech industry. And it does not even end there. China is also taking on America in the high seas. According to reports, it's working on a maritime surveillance program to spy on American naval activity in the Indo-Pacific. And this has forced the United States to make a tit-for-tat move. According to a Reuters report, Washington is reconstructing its anti-submarine spy program, the biggest reconstruction of the program since the end of the Cold War. The project involves modernizing existing networks of underwater acoustic spy cables. It also involves retrofitting a fleet of surveillance ships with cutting-edge sensors and subsea microphones. And observers say this program is aimed at countering China's irrational territorial ambitions, which, by the way, are too many and too much. If I speak of the Philippines, Beijing is sparring with Manila over the Scarborough Reef and the Spratly Islands, which it claims to own. If I speak of Japan, China is fighting it over the Senkaku Islands. They are located in the East China Sea. No one stays here. Japan calls these islands Senkaku, and China has, by the way, named them Diaoyu. China is also fighting Indonesia. The fight is over the Natuna Islands. China has been accused of using intimidating island patrol tactics, also accused of fishing illegally in waters claimed by Indonesia, and China also claims parts of Vietnam, especially the Paracel Islands. In the year 2020, the Chinese army sank a Vietnamese fishing vessel near the Paracel Island. The tactic was the same. A Chinese vessel went and rammed the Vietnamese boat. China is also staking claim on a rock in the Yellow Sea, a rock that is submerged. It's called Socotra Rock, or Iodo or Xi'an Islet. This rock is some 4.6 meters below sea level, but China wants it. And South Korea says the rock falls within its exclusive economic zone. And Beijing does not agree. Next, we have Brunei and Malaysia. They share the South China Sea, but China wants the sea all to itself. Beijing, in fact, has developed military bases on islands and created artificial islands. Time and again, it also deploys maritime militia to bully the two countries. China has unsettled border issues with Bhutan. It has encroached upon around 36 hectares of Nepalese land. And if I speak of Taiwan, China not just wants pieces of land claimed by Taiwan, but it claims all of Taiwan. And you know what's the most surprising bit here? Chinese diplomats once even laid claim to the Russian city of Vladivostok. That's right. It says Russia annexed the city via the unequal treaty of Beijing. What does all of this tell you? That China does not differentiate between a friend and a foe. It only believes in interests. Interests that serve its own agenda of territorial expansionism, economic aggression, and global dominance. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.